Hello, and welcome to Historical Humans Reads, where we take primary sources and bring them to your screen. I'm Colum Coleman, and today we are reading from a work that influenced both the French Revolution and the writing of the American Declaration of Independence. First published in French in 1762, it argued against the prevailing theory of its day that morality and government stemmed from a divine mandate, stipulating instead that the right to govern was derived from the mutual agreement of the people. It was a subversive work in its time that helped to crystallize the democratic ideals of the European intellectual movement known as the Enlightenment. This work is, of course, The Social Contract by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Today, we will be reading from Book 1 of The Social Contract by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. And with that, let's begin. I mean to inquire if, in the civil order, there can be any sure and legitimate rule of administration, men being taken as they are, and laws as they might be. In this inquiry, I shall endeavor always to unite what right sanctions with what is prescribed by interest, in order that justice and utility may in no case be divided. I enter upon my task without proving the importance of the subject. I shall be asked if I am a prince or a legislator to write on politics. I answer that I am neither, and that is why I do so. If I were a prince or a legislator, I should not waste time in saying what wants doing. I should do it or hold my peace. As I was born a citizen of a free state and a member of the sovereign, I feel that, however feeble my voice can be on public affairs, the right of voting on them makes it my duty to study them. And I am happy, when I reflect upon governments, to find my inquiries always furnish me with new reasons for loving that of my own country. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. One thinks himself the master of others, and still remains a greater slave than they. How did this change come about? I do not know. What can make it legitimate? That question, I think I can answer. If I took into account only force and the effects derived from it, I should say, as long as a people is compelled to obey and obeys, it does well. As soon as it can shake off the yoke and shakes it off, it does better. For, regaining its liberty by the same right as took it away, either it is justified in resuming it, or there was no justification for those who took it away. But the social order is a sacred right, which is the basis of all other rights. Nevertheless, this right does not come from nature, and must, therefore, be founded on conventions. Before coming to that, I have to prove what I have just asserted. The most ancient of all societies, and the only one that is natural, is the family. And even so, the children remained attached to the father only so long as they need him for their preservation. As soon as this need ceases, the natural bond is dissolved. The children, released from the obedience they owed to their father, and the father, released from the care he owed to his children, return equally to independence. If they remain united, they continue so no longer naturally, but voluntarily, and the family itself is then maintained only by convention. The common liberty results from the nature of man. His first law is to provide for his own preservation. His first cares are those which he owes to himself. And as soon as he reaches years of discretion, he is the sole judge of the proper means of preserving himself, and consequently becomes his own master. The family may then be called the first model of political societies. The ruler corresponds to the father and the people to the children, and all, being born free and equal, alienate their liberty only for their own advantage. The whole difference is that, in the family, the love of the father for his children repays him for the care he takes of them, while in the state, the pleasure of commanding takes the place of the love which the chief cannot have for the peoples under him. Grotius denies that all human power is established in favor of the governed, and quotes slavery as an example. His usual method of reasoning is constantly to establish right by fact. It would be possible to employ a more logical method, but none could be more favorable to the tyrants. It is then, according to Grotius, doubtful whether the human race belongs to 100 men or that 100 men to the human race. And throughout his book, he seems to incline the former alternative, which is also the view of Hobbes. On this showing, the human species is divided into so many herds of cattle, each with its own ruler, who keeps guard over them for the purpose of devouring them. As a shepherd is of a nature superior than that of his flock, the shepherds of men, i.e., their rulers, are of a nature superior to that of the peoples under them. Thus, Philo tells us, the Emperor Caligula reasoned, concluding equally well either that kings were gods or that men were beasts. The reasoning of Caligula agrees with that of Hobbes and Grotius. Aristotle, before any of them, had said that men are by no means equal naturally, but that some are born for slavery and others dominion. Aristotle was right, but he took the effect for the cause. Nothing can be more certain than that every man born in slavery is born for slavery. Slaves lose everything in their chains, even the desire of escaping them. They learn to love their servitude, as the comrades of Ulysses loved their brutish condition. If then they are slaves by nature, it is because they have been slaves against nature. Force has made them slaves, and cowardice perpetuated their condition. I have said nothing of King Adam or Emperor Noah, father of the three great monarchs who shared out the universe, like the children of Saturn, whom some scholars have recognized in them. I trust, getting due thanks for my moderation, for, being a direct descendant of one of these princes, perhaps of the eldest branch, how do I know that a verification of titles might not leave me the legitimate king of the human race? In any case, there can be no doubt that Adam was sovereign of the world, as Robinson Crusoe was of his island, as long as he was its only inhabitant. And this empire had the advantage that the monarch, safe on his throne, had no rebellions, wars, or conspirators to fear. This has been an excerpt from the Social Contract on Historical Humans Reads. If you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more excerpts for original texts, please subscribe to be notified of the next one. If there's a work you would like to hear, be sure to like the video and leave a comment listing it below. Thank you for listening.